Okay, so today I'm very, very, very excited to present to you a woman I've been reading and following for numerous years, really, on Life Without Baby, a website where she participated in for 8 years, a website created by Lisa Manterfield, which is she's a woman really dear to my heart because she's the one that helped me start my grief journey. So it's very special for me to meet you today.
Mhm.
And the name of my guest is Kathleen Guthrie Woods. So, hi, Kathleen.
Hi, such a pleasure to be here talking with you.
For me too. So, I wanted to interview Kathleen because she has just written and launched a new book. It's called The Mother of All Dilemas, Dreams of Motherhood and the Internship That Changed Everything. Hmm. So, Kathleen, I
Mhm.
would like to know a bit more about that book that
Okay.
you created, if you want to talk to us more in detail
Sure,
about it.
sure. Let me start out by saying it is a memoir with a message. And how it started really was as I got close to 40, not married, no relationship in view. I realized if I was going to fulfill my dream of having children, which is something I thought I would do and looked forward to my whole life, that I was going to have to do it by myself. And I started really researching it, like, the nuts and bolts. How do I do this? And then it was, can I do this financially, emotionally, physically? How do I figure this all out? And I started sort of researching it and journaling like a mad woman. And the joke became, how will I ever know if I can be a single mother? I wish I could get an internship. Ha 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 ha. And then my sister called me and she said she and her wife were heading on a 2-week vacation and they wondered if I would stay with their 15-month-old nephew, Jake. I mean, my nephew, their son, Jake. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is it. I'm going to actually get to try this out. For 2 weeks, I am going to be a single working mother of a toddler. And
Wow.
I'm going to find out if I can do this. And I'm going to answer all my questions. I'm going to address all my doubts, all my fears. I'm going to find out if I really have, if I'm cut out for this. So that is the internship that I had. That was the start of, again, journaling like a mad woman. And the challenge was I came home and I didn't have any answers. I didn't have the answers. I maybe had more answers. I learned a lot. I mean, I experienced things that I never even entered my mind that I needed to know. I'm not going to give too many spoilers away. And then it became the journey of, okay, I have got to figure this out for myself and I'm running out of time.
Wow.
So who do I talk to? Where do I get this information? And I will tell you that this whole process, from first realizing I needed to go down this path to putting out a book, was about 17 years. And that is an incredibly long time. And the reality is, when you are telling a memoir, writing a memoir, you have to live it first.
Yeah.
And then you have to decide what you want to write about it. I didn't think I was going to do a book. I thought this was just for me. And then you edit and you revise and you decide what is your story. And it took me, I can't even count how many different endings I had, but to find the ending that I wanted, because I couldn't just make it up. I had to have something that felt was right for me, but also felt authentic to, I was writing for this Life Without Baby community,
Yeah.
and I wasn't going to give them a clever, cute ending because that wasn't appropriate and that wasn't fair. So process continued. And the other half, the message part of the book, came from an editor who actually read a draft. I think this was about 5-6 years ago. And she said, this isn't just your story. I think you have more to say.
Mm.
And she's the one who sent me down the path of, I probably spent 2 to 3 years researching of why in the world have I spent my whole life feeling that my only value in this world is if I'm a mother? And what does that mean for me if I'm not a mother? And and that's what I did. I started looking at it, and I started interviewing people of, where did this come from? Who taught me this?
Yeah.
And who am I going to be if I don't do this? And that's my book.
Wow. Have you found answers? I'm not going to ask you to give me all the spoilers,
Yeah.
but have you found answers?
You know, I found, finding answers, you know, that makes it sound so neat and tidy, and that's not
Yeah.
life, as we know. I would say I made my way to answers. You know, we talk so much in the childless not by choice community that we have to unpack our losses, and we have to grieve them, and we have to figure these things out for ourselves. And that was a big part of the process for me. It's not a spoiler to tell you that I do not have children, and I won't. But to be able to get to that point of accepting that, if not embracing it, those are the answers I found for myself. And it's an ongoing process. There wasn't some magic flip that, you know, some switch that I flipped and was like, okay, I no longer want children, I'm going to go have this great life. No, I still have baby lust. But I have a very good full life with a lot of great children in my life that are not mine. And a big part of me now knows that I would not have those relationships if I had children of my own.
Yeah.
And I'm incredibly grateful for that. And that's my answer.
That's a great answer. And what I find really interesting when I hear you talk is when you talk about the process.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I don't know if you agree with me, but what is difficult to be childless is that the process for every childless woman is so unique.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
different.
Yeah.
Even if we have the childlessness in common, it's really hard to find our path.
Yeah.
Because there's not really a common path. Like for the
Mm-hmm.
mother, like the mothers, the common path is the children.
Right.
But for us, we have to decide for ourselves what we're going to do with our lives.
Yep.
And I see you inhaling like, oh my God, this is such a huge thing.
Mm-hmm. It is. And, you know, I learned that so much of the women that have been my readers went through infertility. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's just heartbreaking, the things that they've experienced. And others, I've had friends who've had failed adoptions, which is a whole nother nightmare.
Oh my God.
And you're absolutely right. It is a very individual experience of how we process it, how we grieve. And the biggest thing, I think one of the most surprising things I hear is how often people read something I've written and then say to me, I've never told anyone this before, but here's my story. And the one of the heartbreaking things about this, and then I'm getting to a solution to this, is the isolation that we're all in. I grieved in complete isolations and silence for long, so much so that friends that are reading the book now say, I never knew this about you. Well, of course not, because I didn't tell anybody, right? Because I was hurting, and I was ashamed, and felt guilty, and all those other ugly, ugly words. The beauty of this community that has been built, though, over the last decade and continues to grow, is that even if our stories and our paths are different, what we have in common, I believe, is an incredible generosity of spirit and kindness and compassion. And I can go on one of these places and say in the comment, this is This is my story. It's a little bit different than what I've read here. And people come in and say, you know what, we're here with you. And have you tried this site and look at this place? And if nothing else, they just say, I'm so sorry for your loss and you're not alone. And that is huge,
Yeah.
just in that. And that's what we have in common with each other, is that we can come together and have tremendous compassion.
And I would add to that, because I've been meeting these women for at least 8 years. They're in part of my life, like every day. And what I see about, what I can tell for sure about these women is they have great strength.
Yeah.
So much strength and resilience.
Yeah. And those times when we don't feel that we have that strength and resilience in ourselves, there are these incredible women who lift us up, that hold us up. And that has been such a gift. And there's this whole spirit of paying it forward. You know, we're talking about a little bit now, we keep hearing the term the childless elders, which I think is absolutely brilliant. And these women who have kind of gotten to the other side of this journey, saying to our younger sisters, you will get through this.
Yeah.
Lean on us. And that, oh my God, I get goosebumps just talking about it.
Yeah. So Kathleen, we can follow you on Instagram, on Facebook, and we can read you on your website also. Is it still kathleeninc.com?
Yes. Yes.
So kathleen-inc.com.
Yes. And ink is INK, not INC.
Yes. And so I hope we gave you the interest to read this brand new book, this memoir, and to discover what Kathleen learned about this special internship. So thank you very much, Kathleen, for this moment shared with you. It was a pleasure to finally meet you.
I know. You too. Thank you.
I wish you the best with this brand new book.
Thank you very much.
So take care.
You too.